Hello, Internet Land. So Jay and I mapped out my next couple of months of training, and I thought I'd share because I think it's cool and interesting. It's also a great example of the point of what individual design is, designing programs around a person's intentions and their lifestyle, not just a cookie cutter program of do these sets and reps and exercises because reasons. Individual design is all about making things work for the person and what leads them towards the things that they want. So, for me, currently training priorities moving into this next phase of things is I have a tournament that I'll compete in December 11th. So, everything here is designed to build up towards that. So, with that being said, one of the most important things is simply getting back into the swing of jiu-jitsu. Took a hiatus here the last month and a half. One, because I was recovering from my sprained ankle in my last tournament, and then two, because then I needed time to prep for the Costa Rica Trail Run. So it wasn't a whole lot of jiu-jitsu going on then. So now the volume or the number of days that I'll be at jiu-jitsu will increase, kind of goal somewhere in that 3 to 4 days per week range for right now. As we get closer to the competition, that'll probably be more like 4 to potentially 5 days a week as I can handle it. With that, then, so that's jiu-jitsu training, but then in the gym training. So FRC, if you've followed any of my posts, you see me post stuff about functional range conditioning often. So my biggest intentions and goals for those is I'm working on my left foot and ankle and how that works to make some improvements there, as well as both my shoulders increasing their abilities. So that's kind of like my two lowest hanging fruits where I can get the most bang for the buck of what I'm trying to improve. So for me, what that looks like is a lower body day and an upper body day, where lower body is a hips and ankles focused day, and upper body is a shoulder and spines focused day. As well as then one day during the week will just be to generally good movements and to get a pump because it's fun and enjoyable. But that might include things like the Nordic curls, reverse Nordic curls, working with the monkey foot attachment, things of that nature, and any other good accessory movements that are beneficial to me. Maybe I can't fit on these 2 days. I'll just put them here. So that's kind of where the training priorities are for my next 2.5, 3 months. So what does that look like in terms of phases? So come down to the orange. So accumulation. So right now through October, it'll just be focused on building up volume across the board. So in jiu-jitsu and FRC wise. How I should feel during training in this phase is that I should pretty much walk away from any given week or the month feeling like I could have done more, which is a good thing. Because then in November, we'll go into an intensification phase where volume and intensity is going to continue to, well, volume will continue to increase, intensity will then start to increase. And I might start walking away here feeling like I'm almost under recovered, like I'm doing too much, which is what I should likely feel like as we get into the pre-comp week, which would be first week of December, and then competition week, second week of December. So that's kind of our roadmap of phases of training as it fits in with the priorities of my training. So this is obviously the jiu-jitsu skill work necessary if you're going to get better at jiu-jitsu. Strength training here, and then this is what will be my conditioning or my aerobic capacity. Aside from prepping for the tournament, one thing that I want to do and go through and experience would be like what's called anaerobic training. And so to get there, you have to go the way we would do it OPEX wise is to go through our MAP system of aerobic training and work your way down and then work your way back up in the anaerobic side. But that's more than the intention of this video. So what does that aerobic conditioning look like for me right now? So we would call these things pretty much cyclical or just continuous movement devices. So being the rower, the skier, fan wheel bike, biker, and then running. And they all kind of have serve a different purpose. So for me right now, running is not a priority. I already did the Costa Rica Trail Run. I don't need to build up for that and for another year again. So running for me is just going to be maybe like once a week. I'll go out on a trail, have some fun. There's no necessarily intervals to keep up with or any pacing. Just go out, have some fun, enjoy it. Kind of be a recovery thing. Same deal with getting on the bike erg. Just enjoy it if I want to. Use those recovery. The rower, ski erg, and fan wheel bike, though, I'll use those more intentionally for conditioning. For the rower, we'll set benchmarks over this accumulation period for my time on the rower for an hour, for 30 minutes, for 5K, and for 500 meters. Fan wheel bike, we'll set some benchmarks for 10 minutes and 1 minute. And ski erg will use, there's not going to be any benchmarks, and I'll use it mixed modal. The rower, so it's broken down then also to the intention for how long I would be using it in terms of the length of the intervals. The fan wheel bike, I'll take that down pretty aggressively into the short, hard intervals, whereas the ski erg is going to stay in the high range of distance and time, and then the rower will kind of sit quasi in the middle. So that's my skill practice, strength training, and then conditioning as it would then fit within the overarching systems or plan for my training. And then the individual design continues to come in with, how does that look in your week? Maybe I'll stand over here. So for me, this is a possible template or projection on how all this training might fit in for me in a week. So Monday would look like jiu-jitsu in the gi. If you, so I compete in gi and no gi. If you don't know what that means because you're not a jiu-jitsu person, it's just two different ways of doing jiu-jitsu. So it's good to train both. So Monday will be jiu-jitsu and gi. Tuesday be FRC strength training and one of my short cyclical pieces. So that would more so involve probably fan wheel bike and rower. Wednesday, be back at jiu-jitsu in no-gi and then have a long cyclical piece. So that'll probably look something like a ski erg or a rower. Thursday be just an FRC day. Friday be jiu-jitsu open mat. So that could be gi or no-gi. Most of the time it's no-gi because we don't want to be on the gi. And so that would be jiu-jitsu wise, starting out, these are my three like big days as I'm intending. So I'll intend to put lots of effort into these. When we get on to Saturday and Sunday, I have jiu-jitsu on there, but it's really just for technical days. So I won't go in with the intention of rolling afterwards and getting rounds in. I'll just be there to continue to learn and practice the skills so that I can learn it and then continue to apply it with more intensity on those days. Because doing 5 days of intense jiu-jitsu a week is a lot and it won't necessarily last super long. Don't want to burn out on it before it gets to the competition. Saturday would also be another opportunity for a long cyclical piece as well as just getting a pump, so that would be where that movement part comes in. And Sunday's long recovery, cyclical, so I might be getting out for a run, it might be coming in just spinning on the bike or whatever. So I think that's likely all that I necessarily want to share about my training plans going forward. So this is what I'm doing. This is why individual design is good, because it fits for people and their lifestyle. So, all right, bye Internet Land. Have a fantastic day.